Drink told me the plan and I say I'm with it. We jumped in the car and went straight to the riches. Yeah, we went straight to the riches. He told me this one gon' bust both of our wrists. I told him he playing, he says no gimmicks. I told him let's get it, I told him let's get it like. Damn, I never got to see one of these in real life though. Feel me? That's tough. Is this a bathroom? I'm assuming it's a bathroom. This is tough.
So which gate you gonna go?
I'll use the non-white.
I'm considered as colored, so I have to go through this gate. This is for non-whites, and this is for whites.
The Union of South Africa?
Apartheid. I'll tell you what apartheid actually means.
Apartheid eventually ends. At the end, it becomes like this, a museum. Apartheid.
So she was classified white, classified as colored.
Oh, they put that on your ID.
Look at this city in South Africa. White people live in this neighborhood and black people live in this neighborhood. They're separated. Throughout the whole city of Cape Town, you can clearly see the difference in the standard of living. It seems like white people live in California with the most luxurious sites, but black people live in the worst areas. It's not just in this neighborhood or in this city. It's in the whole country. The dots you're seeing on the map are where white people live. It's where the best, most luxurious places are, where there are jobs, and they're by the sea. And black people are away from the city, and they're isolated from the city's rich. Even though the citizens fought apartheid.
They are here to kill us.
Racial segregation for more than 40 years.
Against the apartheid regime, men in puppets.
And before that, the occupation by Britain and Netherlands till 1994.
To release Mr. Mandela.
Nelson Mandela was elected and became the president of the country, and apartheid ended with him.
This symbol of hope has returned.
I feel free today.
By freedom of speech.
However,
That's why y'all love him so much. He gave y'all hope, bro. That's why.
how is the country still divided till now?
Good evening. For 27 years, 6 months and 6 days, he had been a prisoner. During that time, he became a legend, a symbol of black resistance to apartheid, and to many, he became a martyr. Tonight, he is a free man. Nelson Mandela.
A free man taking his first steps into a new South Africa.
Mandela was the symbol of the resistance.
This is the prison that Nelson Mandela was imprisoned in an island near Cape Town.
Nelson Mandela.
Toilet, the restaurant, the hospital, the school, everything was divided.
For Nelson Mandela, today were the first steps on what he once called no easy walk to freedom. For South Africa, those few steps have altered the course of history.
A free man.
Johannesburg. It's a good city before, like now, it's very, very full.
So my name is Nick Budlinder, and I'm a researcher at an activist organization called Ndifuna Ukwazi. Everything in society, when apartheid began, which built on already existing racial discrimination and already existing racial hierarchy, became even more explicit about race. So who you could marry, where you could work, where you could live, all of that was determined by what race you were.
Today we're in Johannesburg, South Africa's largest city, and its financial, industrial, and economic center. This is the city of Johannesburg, dubbed the City of Gold, the richest city in Africa. A long story of a conflict that revolves around the color of the skin and the story of gold there.
South Africa was once the world's largest gold producer.
I'm the key leader.
And the arrival of the Dutch to Cape of Good Hope and international trade. This is the city. The word apartheid came from here, from the Republic of South Africa, from a local language, and it means division, isolation, and racial segregation. The term apartheid, you've heard it a lot before, right? It is the essence of racial segregation. This is in South Africa. There's support in Palestine everywhere. There's deep sadness in their eyes about Palestine, though South Africa is the farthest point in southern Africa. We're in Johannesburg, South Africa. There's a conference here, a campaign called the Global Campaign to Return to Palestine. At the same time, Nelson Mandela's family is here.
Nelson Mandela!
Nelson Mandela.
Until Palestine is free.
To liberate Al-Aqsa and all of occupied Palestine. Only free men can negotiate.
Well, my grandfather, President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian people. We all want to witness a free Palestine in our lifetime.
So you said like the segregation and the apartheid, it wasn't as extreme as Israel now?
No, nowhere near. Israel is practicing apartheid on steroids, as I say. It is far more. I've been to Palestine. We thought South African apartheid was extreme, but when you hear what is happening and you see what is happening in a place like Israel, you reflect back on your own experience in apartheid and you think, you know, we were lucky.
I feel like I felt that because your circumstances could be like them too, feel me? So thank God for what he put you in, feel me? And make it a better circumstance for yourself, feel me? Like,
and the biggest statue of Nelson Mandela outside South Africa and Africa, it is in Ramallah, in Palestine.
The term apartheid exists in South Africa. Where else have you heard it? What other country applies apartheid? The Zionist entity that supported apartheid in South Africa. And it's implementing the same system since its establishment against the Palestinians on the occupied Palestine with a racial segregation wall, barbed wires, and electronic gates. And hundreds of checkpoints, Judaization, confiscation of lands, building settlements, and arbitrary arrest, and physical extermination. All of this exists in our world now, in the West Bank of occupied Palestine.
In Palestine is way more extreme.
Than South Africa.
The extent to which they arrest children and incarcerate children without trial. And they could not detain people for longer than 90 days without trial. Whereas in Israel, they can detain people for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years without trial. In South Africa, they couldn't do that.
So this is South Africa. We came to film here to show it as an example. How they fought, held out, and resisted to beat apartheid. This is a prison in Johannesburg. It used to be for black people. A few steps from it, a prison for whites. This is for blacks in color. The one next to it is for whites, who are treated better, of course.
So non-white section would include the Indian, Asian, colored you mixed race, and black prisoners over here. For the white male prisoners, they were incarcerated in the old fort, which is the other side of the complex. Okay.
Also, Nelson Mandela was here before going to Robben Island?
Yes, correct.
So how I heard about technique, if they want to know between the colored and black, they put something in the hair.
The pencil test.
The pencil test was set to determine.
Let's see if you're colored or not through a pencil test. Put through a pencil inside the hair. Prisoner told to face down. If it drops, okay, you could be colored. If it stays there, no, you are not colored, you are black. Because some of the prisoners would say, I'm colored. Colored is mixed race.
Even in prisons, what they can or cannot eat.
Corn was only given to the black prisoners. Milk only given to the white prisoners. As a political activist, you were sometimes charged with a terrorism act. So you were seen as you're trying to overthrow the government, you're a terrorist, but you were literally just merely fighting for equality and freedom and all. Mahatma Gandhi was also imprisoned here as well.
Nelson Mandela was imprisoned here before taking him to Cape Town, to Robben Island. They say that every prisoner here didn't do anything except wanting freedom. They only demanded their freedom. They call them political prisoners. What does it remind you of?
So apartheid, it means apartness.
Apartheid was an official system from the government by law, and it was applied through punishments by security and police, meaning a system applied by the police, a system of the government, apartheid, until apartheid ended in South Africa.
1994, all this ended.
From the Union of South Africa, Dix Loubser.
And so you cannot say that the land is yours. Everybody knows that Africa is for Africans.
We have two separated entrances, non-whites, coloreds, Indians, Chinese, as well as blacks. And white, it is only for white people, okay?
Black, it's white, Indian, and colored.
These cards also have your name and race, allowing you to enter certain places and forbid you from others. Written here is white person.
Black people were forced to carry passbooks. Other races were just given an identity card.
Yeah, so she was classified white, classified as Cape Colored, Cape Malay.
So you're Indian, like?
No, so our family was classified Cape Colored, but we've never acknowledged that we identified as black.
If you were black or colored, you couldn't live or work in a white area. You had to have something called a pass, which was a document provided by the government.
So this section, it is about the discovery of gold. In 1886, gold was discovered here. And history has it that approximately 30% of the gold globally was discovered here in South Africa.
Mining was really the huge driver of the South African economy. So everything in the country became structured around mining. You know, where people lived, who was allowed to work in which area, you know, how the transport system functioned, everything was kind of structured around mining. And the mining system basically relied on very, very cheap black labor.
They could only come to white areas if they had work.
Johannesburg today,
that's crazy.
With buildings. Before the buildings, it was just a village with few African homesteads. Then after the gold was discovered,
so
skyscrapers manifest.
So y'all need us to help build stuff though, feel me? But we can't live over there, we can't shop over there, we can't do nothing over there. But y'all need us to work though. Fucking crazy, bro. Shit is fucking sick.
African homesteads. Then after the gold was discovered, skyscrapers manifested, and Johannesburg became the city that it is today. This was the truck that obviously was used to enter townships and arrest as many anti-apartheid activists as possible. Built by Mercedes-Benz.
Do you see this armored vehicle in the back? During the days of apartheid, they used it to assault villages, attacking and killing people and arresting them. Made by Mercedes, Germany was part of apartheid. What does it remind you of?
So if I buy a Benz right now, it's like basically I'm supporting this shit, right?
This was Nelson Mandela's house. In this neighborhood, a single picture of a kid was enough to cause change. It shook the world then.
So my name is Mkodisi. It's a Xhosa name, it means peacemaker. That's the exact location where Hector Peterson was shot. He's famous because of that was the turning point of the apartheid regime.
Can you imagine that one picture affected the whole world then? But we see images like this almost every day now. Did the world stop being affected and stopped feeling? Or is it because we're seeing them daily they became normal? They put a picture like this in the middle of the street. Do we have to start putting up pictures like this for all our martyrs? Should that happen?
But I think with what's happening in Palestine, the world is very much quiet about it.
We had to go to South Africa's most beautiful city.
Well, I think that people have a right to live as they want to. I think you can't put a barrier between people. Let them go and do as they wish to. We just don't count blacks and whites, just people, you know. It's very different from your country.
About yesterday.
The city of Cape Town, with its magical beaches. Where there's Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope. We're at the farthest point in Africa, down south, the area of Cape of Good Hope. All ships used to pass from here. Can you imagine? The Dutch came here and white people settled here, and the reason is all of the world trade passed from here. Until the Suez Canal came and completely cut it off. Check out the clouds up here.
Nah. You go hiking up and you see these bad boys? Yeah, they had me, bro. Y'all niggas had me. The clouds and all that. But then when you switch to these, nah, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
They were happy for the existence of... That was a dangerous route to Europe. In the streets of Cape Town, in the Muslims' neighborhood, all the houses are colored, which is a symbol of freedom and equality here. In the middle of Cape Town, look at what they drew. Check out the drawings they did. Nobody can tell them anything.
They have to stop that. Now they killed the women and the kids and everything.
As a mother, I can't do it.
At the start of the 70s, South African whites had every reason for confidence in their future. They lived in the richest, most powerful country on the continent and enjoyed a standard of living almost unequaled anywhere in the world.
Okay, how did apartheid end?
You know, there was a massive boycott and divestment campaign where people living in other countries in the world forced their countries and forced private companies not to invest in South Africa. You know, our sports teams couldn't even play in other countries.
So the world were aware of the apartheid, so trying to fight the apartheid.
Of course, I mean, not every country tried to fight apartheid, particularly the United States did a lot of work to try and keep apartheid alive. You know, they supported, much like in current examples today of in Palestine and Israel, for instance, the United States played a very similar role. They gave a lot of support to the apartheid government. Eventually, the system of apartheid became unsustainable and it collapsed. So they realized the apartheid government, they didn't end apartheid because they didn't believe in it anymore. They ended apartheid because it just wasn't working. Economically, there was too much pressure. Socially, there was a huge amount of resistance. A lot of people fighting very, very hard against it.
And from Cape Town, about a half an hour away on boat, you'll reach an island where the prison of Nelson Mandela is located. This island used to be a prison. All political prisoners were put here. And Nelson Mandela was here for 27 years.
291, my prison number, recorded on my arrival here, 3884. And that is how, folks, I left Robben Island, back to the real world as a free man. That's how Mandela gets here, by air. That's Nelson Mandela's cell window.
They say this was his prison cell. He was imprisoned here for 27 years, then he got out and became the president. Can you imagine a paradise? But you're locked up inside. What does this city remind you of?
If you believe in the cause and the ideals of your struggle, you must keep fighting, never give up.
I pray that we'll see something similar for Palestine as well.
So I'm Mandy Sanger. I'm a former anti-apartheid activist, student.
You were anti-apartheid.
I was an anti-apartheid activist, yeah.
Okay, that's good. I wanted to ask you, like, you are South African. Why you don't live with the, like, just forget about this and you being privileged as a white person and take the area, and why you think different from others?
I think maybe something to do with the way that I was raised. Both my parents were anti-apartheid activists, and they both gave a big piece of their lives to fighting against the apartheid government. So me and my siblings were raised to realize that, you know, just focusing on yourself or your own interests is not the way to live a good life.
South Africa now is free.
We're all looking forward to the day that will soon come and we'll say, free at last. Then they will nod their heads toward you and say, when is that? Say, perhaps it will be soon.
Nah, this is crazy that people have to really live like this. And this is current, though. This is some current shit. I can't read the comments. I don't know what they saying. But, damn, that's tough, y'all. Feel me? Put more videos in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You already know the vibes, man. You get life in a meaning when you dreaming this shit, boy. Dream. I'm out of it. Kinky.
Fake niggas, we don't do those. Fake niggas, we don't do those. Heart cold, heart cold.